the first pick in the 2008 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
I play with my heart. I'm playing on the highest basketball level in my hometown.
36 points and 11 assists for Derrick Rose in about as good a rookie playoff debut as you will ever see.
Rose, stop it! Stop it! Do not do him like that! Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Why not? Why can't I be the MVP of the league? Why can't I be the best player in the league? I don't see why. Why?
Stop it! I want to go higher!
Ooh, sure they go. Rose puts it down!
I'm gonna thank my mom. Think about her when she had to wake me up, go to work, just making sure that I'm all right and making sure the family is all right. Those are hard days. My days shouldn't be hard because I love doing what I'm doing, and that's playing basketball.
What a move by Rose! Oh! Yes, and it counts!
Fade away. Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time.
Rose trying to get open, fires away.
Bang! It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer.
It still is a madhouse on Madison as Derrick Rose nails the three. And the Bulls take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah. So, Derrick Rose, he's no longer in the NBA, Coach. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's definitely for us Bulls fans, especially for guys like me and Malcolm, where we've been really dedicated to this team, watching them for our whole lives.
Yeah.
Definitely a sadder day here. But we are thankful for Derrick Rose and what he did for the city of Chicago. Brought us back on the map from the Michael Jordan era. Gave us a new meaning, gave people new hope. So yeah, we definitely thank you, Derrick Rose, for your time and service with us, man.
Just to compliment that, like, man, when the news broke, it kind of gave me the same feeling, in a different way, but it gave me the same feeling of when, I found, we heard that Kobe passed. It was sad. Derrick means a lot to the city. Derrick means a lot to a lot of people who come from neighborhoods where sports is a way to kind of like deal with your circumstances or even rise above your circumstances. So he is the epitome of watching dreams come true, right? He's from Inglewood. So it's just it's a good feeling to know that he's moving on and getting to a different part of his life and is satisfied with his career and how it went, and he's excited to just kind of be with his kids, be with his family and that nature. But it's sad because when you think about his injuries and how much that took away from his career and what it potentially could have been had those injuries not occurred, we probably would have been able to see a Bulls championship in our lifetime. I mean, I was alive when Michael was winning, but I wasn't necessarily understanding that the Bulls were one of the greatest teams in the 90s. I was a kid, so it wasn't really something that I could just hold on to, but it would have been nice. Derrick gave me a lot of things to cheer for, gave me a lot of things to be happy and excited about. So I wish him the best of luck in his retirement. I'm sure that he's going to enjoy just kind of like getting away from the game, being with his son, being with his wife, and things of that nature. So I wish him the best. Hopefully he's excited about it and, he just has the peace and the tranquility that he's looking for. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw the Bulls are doing essentially a Derrick Rose weekend leading up to the game against the Knicks in January.
Yeah, they're retiring his jersey January 4th.
I don't know if they're retiring his jersey that day, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be in attendance. Obviously, Tibbs is gonna be there.
Okay.
Probably Joakim's gonna come. A whole bunch of guys are gonna come.
Okay.
Maybe that's when they do the jersey retirement. I'm not sure, but I definitely plan on being in attendance that day. Tickets are pricey, but I think they're definitely worth it for avid Bulls fans like us. So again, we thank Derrick Rose for his time in Chicago, and then we were always rooting for you, even when you went to New York and Minnesota. Anytime you came home, MVP chants roared through the arena whenever you're shooting a free throw, man. So we appreciate what you've done.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Coach. Enough of the sad stuff. Let's get into these Week 4 results from the games that happened this Sunday and Monday. So, as I predicted, the Baltimore Ravens put belt to ass.
Yep.
Put extreme belt to ass to the Buffalo Bills. So I was excited about that. The Bears squeaked away with a win. And we'll get into that.
Which you didn't have happening, but
I won't say I didn't have happening. I don't know if I picked the Rams that game.
you did.
I did?
You did. I remember that vividly, Mel.
Oh, yeah, that hurt you, huh? That I picked the Rams? Okay, well.
Jaden Daniels extraordinaire over here.
Yeah, whatever. And then, speaking of Jaden Daniels, another one, putting belt to ass. Belt to ass.
Again, let's see what he does against a good defense.
Oh, my God.
Good win. Good win.
Oh, my God.
Good win.
They have not punted the ball, Coach.
That's good.
Oh,
No,
whatever.
good wins. Good wins.
Minnesota, they pulled out a win against Green Bay. Were you surprised?
I was, just because I took the Packers to win, and at Lambeau, Jordan Love came back, by the way, which I wasn't expecting when we were recording this podcast last week.
I knew he was coming back.
Which you would think would lead them over the top, but
Nah.
I mean the Vikings were given the business in that first and second quarter.
And then Green Bay figured it out.
Yeah.
But that lets me know that they have a formula for success the next time they play Minnesota.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think that just shows that the Vikings are legit, man, and it's scary to say.
Well, I mean, they have a quarterback who was a first-round pick, and what are we seeing is that there are some quarterbacks that come out the gate ready to cook, Jaden Daniels. There are some quarterbacks who probably need some time, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. And then there are some quarterbacks who you have to question whether or not they have the chops to really be who they say they are. Bryce Young, Caleb Williams.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So other than that, Kansas City, surprised? Not surprised that it was a 17-10 victory?
Surprised that it wasn't a bigger win for the Chiefs, just because of the history that Patrick Mahomes has had against the Chargers. But I thought we saw a pretty decent Chargers team, coached by Harbaugh, come ready to play. Obviously, the Chiefs lost Rashee Rice that game. I don't even know how many snaps he played, but it was early in the first quarter he went down. So him being out, Hollywood Brown being out.
Okay.
I mean, Travis Kelce is also not performing to the standard we're used to. Pacheco being out. For them to come in and win that game is something great. Is something great, because obviously we don't give the Chargers the credit that maybe they deserve, maybe they don't.
It's the Chargers, man.
Right. But at the end of the day, they're still a solid football team with a solid defense. I mean, even though it is a solid defense, still the Chiefs putting up 17 points with a pretty lackluster offense.
I agree. However, I am worried for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Only putting up 17 points against the Chargers concerns me. I think that they need to really look into adding some wide receiver help. I don't know exactly who that may be. Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure exactly where that's going to come from. Amari Cooper. Just some guys out there that they could potentially get. Bring Tyreek home. Just a few wide receivers that they could potentially, bring back into the fold.
Yeah.
Kansas City should really look into that. So that's my concern, if they really want to three-peat and kind of find themselves along with the New England Patriots as one of those teams who were able to go 3 Super Bowls in a row to be that type of dynasty. They need wide receiver help.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure exactly how long Rashee Rice is going to be out. But if you get in another wide receiver and then Rashee Rice comes back, that's a scary team.
Very scary.
That's a very, very scary team.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there wasn't too many more surprises throughout the course of Sunday. I mean, the Buccaneers beat the Eagles. I don't know if you were surprised by that.
No, that's why I called. I had Baker coming in and absolutely balling out, and that's what he did. So
You did call that, and I'm not necessarily upset with that one. But the Eagles have some things to really start looking at.
Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat, ladies and gentlemen.
You think so?
I believe I know so.
Well, speaking of people on the hot seat, I got a little game that I want to play called Who's Cooking and Who Should Stay the Fuck Out the Kitchen. All right? Who's cooking right now? Who's cooking? We got Jared Goff, we got Jaden Daniels, we got the Baltimore Ravens, and we have Shane Waldron. Jaden Daniels, who you know I believe in.
Yep.
That's the quarterback I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
If we were going to move on from Justin Fields, which we did, I wanted Jaden Daniels. And the boy is a rock star. He's a superstar. He's cooking, and it ain't taking him long, Coach.
Yeah.
It ain't taking him long. So I don't know if it's Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know if it's just the way Washington has things set up. I don't know if we just want to give all the credit to the offensive line. I'm not there to just say it's just everything else around him. I think this kid is special, and he's cooking right now. No punts for the Washington Commanders in the last 2 games. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Jared Goff, 18 for 18, Coach. 3 touchdowns.
And a receiving touchdown. And a receiving touchdown.
Come on, man. Detroit. Now, I'm surprised that they're not the one that's on top of the NFC North right now. I'm surprised that they're just kind of like in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
That can easily change throughout the course of the season. But if Jared Goff can continue to play like this, Detroit is continuously going to be a problem.
I think Detroit being kind of middle in the pack in the NFC North just gives even more credit to what we've been saying before the season started.
Yeah.
The NFC North is, without a doubt, the toughest division in football right now. They have the best. Yes, they have the best record combined in the whole
toughest,
NFL.
You don't think the
Nope. I don't want to hear
what's
it.
that? The NFC East?
I don't want to
You
hear
don't
it.
think that's Cowboys?
Nope.
Philly,
Cowboys suck.
Atlanta, and
Philly
Washington.
sucks.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. That's a tough division.
Nope.
Coach.
It's getting
not the Eagles.
No.
It's the Giants, the Commanders, Cowboys, and who's the other one in
Falcons?
the NFC? No, that's the South.
No, it's okay.
There's one more team in the East that I'm missing. Cowboys, Giants. Man, I wish I had it right now.
Commanders, and
Commanders, and there's one more.
somebody else.
Somebody that's trash.
Yeah,
that we're missing.
but that's what.
Either way, it's still one of the tougher between those 3 teams. That's tough.
Yeah, but I don't think it compares to what the NFC North has been doing. I mean, the Bears, again, are bottom of the NFC North at the moment, right? And people, there isn't a team in this division that is below, like, in the power rankings under 18th. Like, the Bears are at 18 right now in the NFL power rankings. So
fair point.
That's my take on
And the Baltimore Ravens, Coach,
yeah,
who I told you was going to put belt. They're going to put belt to ass, Coach, on the Buffalo Bills. I told you they were going to come in there and just run them out. Look, the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to say this now, so whoever is a Baltimore fan, if you guys continue to trust in the run as an organization, as a team, the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. If they just trust in it, if they trust in handing that ball off to Derrick Henry, letting Lamar Jackson make plays from time to time with his legs, and passing the ball off of play action and different and actions like that, the Baltimore Ravens are well equipped to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
And I don't think there's any question of that. I mean, they've come out guns blazing. Obviously, week 1 was a little hiccup. And the very limited.
The first 2 weeks was a little bit of a hiccup.
And the very limited featuring of the tight end game. Isaiah Likely had a great first game, but Mark Andrews has been non-existent. And I hate that I draft him in fantasy, all right, because he's giving me goose eggs at least 3 out of these 4 weeks so far. But
and he's the expert, ladies and gentlemen. But he drafted Mark Andrews.
Yeah, any guy with a sensible mind would have taken Mark Andrews.
You're right. You're right, Coach. I'm just messing with you.
Come on, man. But it is good to see Baltimore still doing their thing. Shout out Roquan Smith. That was definitely one of my favorite players when he was here in Chicago. So seeing him go there, still doing his thing. See the Ravens in general. I think when the Ravens are a good football team, the NFL is in a great place.
They're one of those teams that help make the NFL better. And last but not least, Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron. I know everybody want to piggyback and try to give Caleb all of these claps and high fives because we won this game against Los Angeles, but I want to give Shane Waldron the credit that he deserves because he decided to stop making this a political thing and try to make Caleb Williams a superstar and decided to use his team and the assets on it. We went power game, run power. I saw more I formation in this game than I saw in the first 3 weeks of football for the Bears.
Yeah.
Roschon Johnson was utilized to the way that he was supposed to be utilized. We allowed our run game to set up a lot of play action and easy plays for Caleb to hit guys over the middle and allowed us to soften the defense and make them play honest so they couldn't just hit us with a pass rush the entire game. And our defense and special teams did exactly what it was supposed to do that we knew it could do.
Yeah.
Set up the field, give the offense good field position, flip the field when necessary from our punter. It was everything that we were looking for. So Shane Waldron deserves all of the credit for this game, for changing the offensive scheme and taking the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands, because I know that's what fans wanted to see. That's what Bears fans have been looking for. They have been looking for us to allow Caleb Williams to look like he's Patrick Mahomes and fling the ball out, but that has not been working. And to be quite honest, we still almost lost this game, Coach. We'll get into that, but we still almost lost this game. But I do appreciate the fact that Shane Waldron decided to switch things around.
And I'm glad that the offensive captains in the room, including Mercedes Lewis and Caleb Williams, went to Shane Waldron and said, yo, coach us a little bit harder. Like, we could take this. We need this. And I think Eberflus says it every week, but I thought we had a great practice. But I truly think last week's whole week of practice had to be probably the best ones that they've had in a while, going back to last season. Just because of how ready the offense looked. I won't say from drive one they looked very risen.
No.
Because, they went, 3-0 in the first drive, or they got a first.
They still started the game trying to give the ball to Caleb at first.
Well, okay, no, but here's where it changed. Is because the pass game was working at the beginning, right? We had the first down to Keenan, right, getting him involved. But then the run game was looking very lackluster at the beginning as well. It was throughout the game that the run game allowed everything to open up, and I applaud Shane Waldron to sticking to it, to putting Roschon Johnson in the game. Finally hearing the fan outcry that we've been wanting for so long is. And especially on that goal-to-goal situation where we just got up in the eye, we had a offensive guard in the backfield instead of a fullback or a tight end, and just ran it up the middle to get that first 6 on the board. So shout out to Shane Waldron. We need to see more of that, but we need to see execution in the fourth quarter, which we're going to get to in our later segment here, which I think will lead us to our second part of this: who's cooking and who needs to stay out the kitchen.
Who needs to stay out the kitchen? I can tell you who needs to stay out the kitchen. First off, Anthony Richardson. I'm going to say this right now. For all you Indianapolis Colts fans, Anthony Richardson needs to sit down, stay behind a veteran quarterback, and learn how to play NFL professional quarterback play. He needs a little bit more time. He has all the technical skill sets. He has all the raw potential, but he needs a lot more development. And if the Indianapolis Colts are serious about making this kid their franchise quarterback, they need to do him the service of going back to old school philosophy of football, which is you draft your young quarterback, you give them time to develop, you let them learn, and only when they're truly ready do you put them out there. Really, you follow the Green Bay format.
Yeah.
From Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, there was clear succession. There was a clear plan of allowing that young quarterback to sit back, learn, look at mistakes, learn from the veteran quarterback, keep practicing, work on your mechanics, work on your IQ, and then when you are truly ready, to put you out there and look at the results.
Yeah.
From Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers is the one team in the NFL, one of the few teams in the NFL that has been able to successfully go from one quarterback to the next. And so if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you have to make a decision and say, if Anthony Richardson is going to be your future quarterback, you have to give him the time to develop, and you have to plan on that and stick to it.
Is it time to start Joe Flacco? Well, I mean, Anthony Richardson is hurt, so Joe Flacco will get the start here. But if and when Anthony Richardson comes back, does Joe Flacco remain the starting quarterback? I think he should.
Yeah.
I think he should for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And
the Colts look like a different team with Joe Flacco.
They did. And I think shout out to Pat McAfee, obviously, Colts guy, Colts punter, all that, Colts kicker, but obviously Anthony Richardson is the guy they want leading the team because he is so young, you know what I mean, and he's got so much raw talent. I mean, he's 6'4", like 220. Like he is a massive human being.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to get run over by that guy.
No,
Trust me.
that's what I'm saying. He has all of the raw potential skills that you will want for a modern day quarterback, right? And what you're looking to accomplish at the quarterback position. He has a strong arm, strong build. He can run. He can do everything that you're looking for. The problem is that he needs a lot more work on his mechanics,
footwork,
accuracy, footwork. These are things that you have to coach. These are things that you have to develop. These are not things that he's going to learn on the job. All right. So if that's what you're going to do, if that's what you're going to try to do, you have to put him in position to see that type of throw, right?
Yeah.
That type of throw from him is something that he can occasionally do, but it's not something that he's always going to do. Right? Because his footwork has to get better. His accuracy has to get better. They have a gym, in my opinion. They do have a gym. But if they don't take care of it, and if they're not willing to sit back, polish it, get all the dirt off, and make sure that it's ready, they're gonna waste it, and they're gonna look back, and people are gonna get fired because everybody's gonna be like, "You drafted this kid, and he couldn't be what we thought." Blah blah blah. No, take the time out to develop him. Take the time out. But I don't want to stay on Anthony Richardson because there's more people that need to stay the F out the kitchen.
Yeah.
The next person that needs to stay out the kitchen. Gerard Mayo, the head coach for the New England Patriots. I don't know what's going on with them, but they are quickly turning into a dumpster fire.
Yeah. I thought like the week 1 game and the week 2 game that they had was very surprising. And people were like, oh, maybe this change of culture with Gerard Mayo is something that the Patriots needed.
Yeah.
And they have, they got Jacoby Brissett starting at quarterback, right? And, we had the whole talk about you have a gem, let him sit and develop. Maybe they have a gem in Drake May. I mean, I think there's no question the guy has talent.
Well, then they put out, or just not to just interrupt you real quick, but then they put out a report that they plan to start him next year. Like the top of the year for next year. That's when they plan on letting Drake May start.
All I really saw was that Gerard Mayo said the team has a plan, and when they're ready to make that plan public, then they're going to make it public. So Bill Belichick said it on a podcast as well. He said, well, if Gerard Mayo and the Patriots say they have a plan, I guess they have a plan. So I think that kind of tells you how these other coaches are looking at this situation where it's like...
Well, I mean, that tells you how Bill is looking at it.
Yeah, but Bill being one of the more storied head coaches in the league, I mean, that obviously... has credibility in it.
I'm going to say I don't like that from Bill, though. I don't like that. I don't like the tone of that because it comes off very like if I was still there,
I see
this wouldn't be happening. Blah blah blah. It gives that type of vibe. It gives that type of feeling. Because I was already kind of wondering if Bill wanted to leave as the head coach of the Patriots, or if it was something that Robert Kraft kind of forced his way to do, and if Bill had any. Say so, and who was going to succeed him. I don't know if he thought Gerard Mayo was somebody that should be the head coach for the Patriots. So for him to say it like that and have that type of tone, it bothers me a little bit.
I get you. All right. I think we definitely agree upon those 2 points. Now, the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence also need to stay out of the kitchen. What is this kid doing? Poor Brian Thomas Jr., by the way. He was torching up that defense last week, the Texans.
Yeah.
Getting open constantly. And I don't even know how many catches or receiving yards he had, but, man, that kid was getting open consistently. He is a stud, and he's going to die on that team. He's going to die on that team because they can't find the ball. They can't throw him the ball.
I'm going to ask you this. Is Trevor Lawrence the problem?
I think it's so tough to say because
Okay.
because you look at like Brian Thomas getting open.
Okay.
I think the scheme maybe necessarily isn't the worst.
Okay.
They have Travis Etienne, who's a star-studded running back.
Okay.
And I think they got Evan Ingram, right? Like, you have the pieces to succeed. Why aren't you succeeding? Why isn't everything coming to fruition? I think.
Okay. Yes or no? Is Trevor Lawrence the problem?
I don't know. I don't know because like I want to say yes, but then I feel like I'm being very hypocritical to my Caleb Williams argument where it's like, well, I just don't think things are falling into the right place and things aren't going the right way for things to succeed.
Okay, I'm not trying to make this a long subject on Trevor.
Yeah.
He's the problem.
Okay.
He's the problem.
And I see that point of view, and I kind of lean a little bit towards that way as well.
But you have such an affinity for like giving quarterbacks so much grace. So much grace. Either you got it or you don't, coach.
You know why? Because that is the toughest position in the NFL. That is the toughest position to play in the NFL.
I'm not saying it's not.
And that is why I give them so much credit for the job that they do and like me wanting to, give them the benefit of the doubt. Because at one point in college, these guys were all the guy. They were all the dudes coming out of college, right?
But what do we say? You can be the man in college. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to the professional level.
Very
true. The professional level is the best of the best.
Very true. But okay, now you look at Sam Darnold. Was it really just Sam Darnold not being good enough, or was the scheme and the team?
No, at the time he wasn't good enough.
Okay,
and it took him what is it, 7 years, 8 years,
something
like that, 6, 5, whatever. However many years it has taken Sam Darnold to get to this point, it took him that long to get to that point. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying these guys can't ever get there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they can't ever work their way there, but you either got it or you don't at the time.
I think Baker was a whole different beast because I think he had the talent coming out of college and could have succeeded.
But Cleveland was just such a dumpster fire?
I think the Browns are such a dog shit organization that they will never, ever succeed in the existence of the NFL. And maybe clip me in 40 years maybe not if they do.
If they ever win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but Baker getting out of Cleveland and going to the Buccaneers was probably the best thing that could have happened for him. Because look at him now.
I agree. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Yeah. But what I'm saying is just that I still hold quarterbacks to a standard of you either got it or you don't. And you may not have it at the time, which is why I say Anthony Richardson needs to stay out the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's because he doesn't have it now. And they're going to hurt his career by allowing him to just stay out there and kind of just wither his career away to a point where nobody ever wants to take a chance on that kid. But we know who's cooking. We know who needs to stay out the kitchen. And since we know Shane Waldron was cooking, let's get into this Bears game.
Okay.
All right?
I don't think I'll let you lead off, but I just want to start with just a quick comment. I don't think there's necessarily much to go over here because I think it was a well-organized all-around game from the Bears. I think it was a well-coached game.
Yeah.
And maybe at the end of the day it just came down to in the fourth quarter, maybe people not executing to the fullest of their capability. Or as well as they may have should have. Maybe some fatigue set in, right? Even on the defensive end.
Okay.
Right? But I thought overall it was a great outing. The Rams aren't a team to play with. They had that comeback win against the 49ers the week before.
Right.
So us keeping them at bay and then closing out that last drive with Matthew Stafford to put the seal on it makes it a good Bears W for me.
Is this more a Bears win or a Rams loss?
I think it's a Bears win because the Bears did everything right, and the Rams did a couple of things wrong. Do you see what I mean? Like, I think the Bears just executed their game plan as much as they could have, even though the offensive line looked a lot better, but still had very troubling moments in that game.
They did.
Jared Verse should have had about 3 sacks in that first quarter if it wasn't for all those holding penalties down the field.
And that's why, for me, this is more of a Rams loss.
I could see that, yeah.
There was ample amount of opportunity for the Rams to win this game, and penalties from the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball put the Bears in position to score. That pass interference call on Keenan Allen, at the goal line, we were about to be 3 and out. Until that pass interference call, the Bears don't score there.
Well, that would have been a touchdown if you didn't hold him though. So
we could say it was a hold.
yeah, no, he held him. He held him.
That's fine. I'm at the point now where it's just like, when it comes down to the defensive side of the ball, I feel bad for a lot of these defensive players because it's like, what the hell do you want them to do? You know what I mean? It's like really, what do you want me to do out here on the field? You want me to just let the offensive guys just run around here and do nothing to them, and then give them light taps on the shoulder, and then be like, hey man, go out of bounds now. I tapped you on the shoulder. Come on, man. Well, sooner or later, this is gonna be flag football, coach.
I was about to say that.
Jesus Christ. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Rams lost this game more than the Bears wanted. But again, I do want to hone in on the fact that this was a completely different game from the offensive side of the ball for the Bears. And I do think that this is the actual true formula for winning for the Bears going forward.
Yes.
I still stand firmly, 10 toes down, and I stand on business with it. Caleb ain't ready. He isn't ready to be your quarterback that's throwing the ball 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 plus times a game. But if you keep him in the window between 18 and 24, and we run the ball the way that we ran the ball, and we commit to it, regardless of the crazy results, just commit to running the ball so the defense knows that if they keep trying to, that if they don't put people in the box, that a breakaway run will happen. You have to commit to it. You have to commit to the run, because if you try to put the game on his shoulders, it's going to look like week 2. It's going to look like week 3. It's going to look like week 1, where the defense is going to have to pull out heroics similar to this game.
So you know what this is sounding like, Malcolm?
What?
You know what this game plan is sounding like?
What?
It's sounding like the Commanders' game plan, Malcolm.
No, it does not sound like the Commanders' game plan.
Why does it not?
Because the Commanders actually put the game in both Jaden Daniels' hands as much as the running game.
Not
because
true.
he's just as much as part of the running game as he is the throwing game.
Yeah, okay, I can see.
So everything's
so
it's all a part of his shoulders. I'm not saying that they don't have a balanced attack. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is this: Jaden Daniels is not. They don't limit the play calling the way that they should limit the play calling with Caleb Williams. He has only thrown the ball 6 times over 20 yards throughout the course of this season.
Who?
Caleb Williams.
What about Jaden Daniels?
He's thrown the ball more than over 6 times with completions of 20 plus yards. He has.
Oh my God, man.
Caleb Williams has not done that. And again, this is not. I'm still not trying to have the Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams debate, because that's not necessary.
That.
We already did that.
Yes,
but all I'm saying is this: I like Shane Waldron dialing back. I like Shane Waldron deciding to say, this kid who y'all want to see throw the ball all over the field, it ain't time yet.
And
because DeAndre Swift, I'm gonna be honest with you, people are wondering why Roschon wasn't in the game this whole time. I'll tell you why. Because DeAndre Swift is the type of scat back you need for a passing game.
Yeah.
He is your pseudo extra receiver out there from the running back position that you can get the ball to in passing situations. That's why DeAndre Swift was signed. That's why DeAndre Swift was brought over here, because the idea was that Caleb was going to spread the field and throw this ball around. But the reality is that's not going to work right now. So we need that boy. And that boy name is Roschon. And we need him in the back. And we need him bulldozing people. And that's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
I agree that's the game plan that needs to... The game plan that they had for the Rams is the same game plan they need to continue throughout like the rest of this year. Maybe ramp it up a little bit towards the end. You know what I mean? Maybe once you get to one of the last Packers games or one of the Seattle game, the last home game of the year, maybe then, you know, your pass attack comes more into fruition. You can start passing the ball more. Like, I don't think the narrative should be that Caleb Williams isn't going to throw or shouldn't be throwing 28 to 30 passes by the end of the season. I think he absolutely should be. But right now, and we both agree on this, I'm pretty sure, there is no chance that the Bears have a way of winning or a winning formula if you're asking the kid to come out and throw 30 plus times a game.
No, we agree.
And we agree.
We agree on that.
Cool.
All right, let's move on to our next segment. Bullshit or Bullrush. All right. Media day has come for the Chicago Bulls. Preseason is around the corner, and we're both excited for the Bulls this year. It's something that we, for the first time, really don't know what we're going to get. There has been shakeups to the roster, so we don't know exactly. Well, I have a feeling of what the Bulls season is going to look like, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most fans are very ambiguous. There's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of we don't know. There's a lot of all of that in the air about what this Bulls team is going to be. But I want us to play a snippet of Zach Lavine and his opening presser at Media Day, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Let's take a listen.
I got it first. I want to thank everybody. Obviously, I'm very happy to be back here. Extremely happy to be back. In training camp. It's been a long summer. Fully healthy, but I'm excited to come back here, compete. I've had a lot of learning to do and watched a lot of film, so I'm excited to be able to play offensively, defensively, whatever role they put me in. I'm excited for that. It's when you go through a long off season like I have, you get to learn a lot about yourself and the company you keep. I have an extremely well support system, and I think that with everything that I learned, there's times you need to speak and there's times that you don't. I had probably how long until I talked to you guys? I was talking to you guys in February of last year. Whenever there's something that needs to be said, it'll come from Zach Lavine or my representation. There was a lot of thoughts and rumors, opinions about me, about the organization. So just know whenever it needs to come from me or them, you'll know it'll be from them. I think Rich talked one time, and this is my first talk time to you, so everything else you can take with a grain of salt, with false narratives or whatever it may be. I think going forward, the best way to handle, a lot of this stuff is I'm in a great situation, a great headspace. I'm fully healthy right now, which I don't take for granted. Anything negative that will try to pin me, the organization, rumors, drama, whatever it is, I leave that in the past. I'm focusing a lot on this camp right now, going forward on this team and helping, learning, and just having a good time. I think that's something that's not talked about enough. Is when you need to have good energy, only give into that. I don't want to keep talking about the past or anything because there's a lot of things I can't speak on, but there's no reason to. I had a conversation when I first committed to the Bulls and signed my deal here with Michael, with Jerry, AK, the front office, with the commitment that they gave me, the respect they gave me. I'm going to continue to give them that same respect, but not just the way I play, but with my professionalism. And that won't waver. That's something I stand on. So, anything going forward, I think that's how I'm gonna answer it. I'm looking to, get any questions that you guys want, but I'm excited for this camp. I'm excited for this year. There's a lot of things that we can do moving forward. So,
all right, Coach.
What's the first
Your
one?
thoughts? Your thoughts on that?
It was nice to see Zach come out and say those things, but I think he said like these rumors and everything should be taken with a grain of salt. I think his statement should be taken with a grain of salt.
Ooh, wow.
Zach Lavine's.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, come on.
I just believe that for Zach Lavine, I think this summer and being away from basketball for some time with the injury and kind of being able to take essentially a longer summer break is what he had.
Okay.
To kind of come back with his team, really reevaluate, maybe his value at the organization or around the league.
Okay.
I think this was more so just a PR thing than anything. As in him trying to build up the credibility again that he's not this like toxic locker room like insect or stuff like that. I think he's really just trying to build this back up, and probably is genuine. Like I don't think there's any doubt that like he's being genuine, but I don't think this is necessarily him just being like, yo, like I'm trying to stay, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is what I need to do. Like, if you guys hear these things, like, it's only going to come from my team. I think that was literally all just a controlled environment for him to kind of come back and be like, all right, we're back locked in. Let's play basketball. Let me play my game. And then the league's going to know what Zach Lavine does.
So, okay. I want to say this. I'm not sure if you understand, if you're privy to body language.
Mm-hmm.
That man is upset.
Mm-hmm.
That man is visibly upset, visibly frustrated, and he has all rights to. The Bulls organization sucks when it comes down to dealing and managing their players. This is the same organization that told Michael Jeffrey Jordan the year of, what is that, the 97-98 season, that they didn't give a damn if the team went 82-0 and won a championship, that they were going to break that team up.
Mm-hmm.
That they didn't give a damn about if he wanted Phil Jackson to be the head coach, that Phil Jackson was going to be gone. This is the same organization that drafted Derrick Rose, and when he got hurt, and he wanted to take time to come back because he was talking about how the injuries that he was sustaining, he wanted to make sure that he could still be around for his son at the time, PJ, still a son, obviously. Yeah. But he wanted to make sure that when he retired, that he could be able to walk, that he can do all the things that he wants. And I vividly remember Chicago Bulls media outlets questioning his mindset, mm-hmm. his resilience, questioning how much he loved the Bulls and how much he was willing to go through for the sake of the team. Those type of things ruin Derrick Rose's career, whether people want to accept it or not.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bulls ruined his career with the pressure that they put on him. So I am not believing any of the Chicago Bulls narratives that have been coming out about Zach Lavine. I don't believe. The only thing I do believe is his relationship with Billy Donovan.
Okay.
Everything else regarding his, and it hasn't been a lot, but the few times that they've tried to make it seem like, oh, Zach Lavine is the problem, or he's been trying to do it his way and it hasn't worked. How's he been trying to do it his way? How's he been trying to do it his way? Because we all know how Zach Lavine wants to play.
Yeah. I think it's very clear.
It's very obvious how he wants to play. And the Bulls have not been playing like that.
No. And when we did play like that, guess what? We were one of the hottest teams in the East.
We were one of the best teams in the East.
Which makes me excited because we do have that certain guy coming back.
We do.
Apparently.
We have a couple guys.
Yeah.
And Josh Giddey and Lonzo Ball being the guy that's coming back. Both of them play very similar. They can get the ball up. They can push the pace. They pass very well. They're big point guards that can rebound, catch you in transition. So it bodes well for the way that Zach Lavine wants to play. But you put him in this position as being your highest paid player, and you don't surround him with the people that can enhance his skill set. And you give him a coach that isn't adamant about uplifting his top player. And you think that that's going to create a great relationship? I'm getting paid to lead this team. So if we fail, everybody's going to blame me, right? Because I get the money. So why aren't you putting me in positions to succeed? As an organization and as a coach? Why am I sitting around here having to defer to a guy who's basically skeleton and bones, who can only shoot mid-range shots?
Are you talking about the Marvelous?
I am talking about the Marvelous.
How could you?
Oh, my God. Because Chicago Bulls fans saw this man do one fadeaway, and they thought it was the return of Michael Jordan.
MJ is back, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's what's been the most incredulous part of all of this with Zach Lavine and the whole past 2 to 3 years of the DeMar DeRozan experience. I know that there's a lot of Bulls fans out there who think that because a guy scores the basketball, that means he's a great basketball player. The reality is that there's a lot of guys professionally in the NBA that can go and get you buckets. But that does not mean that they can contribute to winning. This is a coach telling you that. Understand that as a Bulls fan. There's a lot of guys that can put the ball in the basket, but that does not mean that they can contribute to a winning culture. If it takes you 28 shots to score 28 points, you're a bad shooter. That's just the facts. And if you look at DeMar DeRozan from the time he's been with the Chicago Bulls, and you really, really analyze his scoring, whenever DeMar DeRozan had high scoring outputs, it usually meant that he shot the ball way more than anybody else, and he had to go to the free throw line way more than anybody else, which only meant that he had the ball in his hands way more than anybody else. It's no coincidence that we went from being the number one team in the East after Lonzo went down to barely making the playoffs that season as a 6th seed, barely holding on because that second half of the season was absolutely terrible.
Yep.
We lost more than we won. And since waiting for Lonzo to come back, we have barely been able to be a play-in team and failing to go to the playoffs. It's no coincidence with DeMar DeRozan being the leader of the team. But Zach gets all the blame. And I can understand why he's visibly frustrated. Because this is pure BS. But I blame AK and Billy Donovan. And that leads me to the next segment of this. Do we believe in Arturas and Billy Donovan going forward with the Chicago Bulls team?
So I think people have trouble in believing in AK now just because when the moves were first made for Vooch, signing DeMar, signing Lonzo, signing Alex Caruso, people were like, okay, this roster's kind of just jumbly. How's it going to work? You don't really have shooters. And then they came out and balled that first half of the season. That was first like 30 or 40 games. They balled.
Yeah.
And people were like, Arturas is doing his thing.
He's a genius.
He's doing what he did in Denver, assembling that team, drafting those guys. And then since then, I mean, what has really happened of significance or of such positive nature that could give this guy more credibility? I mean, what did we do? I mean, we got Andre Drummond, which for Lord knows what reason, and I think this goes to Billy Donovan as well. Why didn't he play more? Because whenever I viewed that game, I saw the Bulls playing a lot better when Andre Drummond was in the game versus when Nikola Vucevic was in the game.
Yeah, because Andre Drummond is not being asked to do the things that Vucevic is being asked to do on the offensive end.
Yeah, man. So why not play Andre Drummond more then? If we're gonna let Andre Drummond be Andre Drummond, and he's doing his thing, why did he only play like 14 minutes a game?
Because when you look into the depths of Andre Drummond and you study all of the minutes that he played with the Bulls, when he played a long time, he had a lot of foul issues. He got into foul trouble very easily. And he wasn't as efficient around the basket as you would have wanted. When he played in short minute spurts, he was dominant. You put him out there for 6 minutes, he'll come out of there with like 6 points, 8 rebounds. You give him another 6 minutes, he'll add another 6 points, 8 rebounds. And by the end of the game, it's 12 and 16. But if you were planning on him to play the whole 35 minutes, he's going to foul out.
Well, that's not what I'm asking for, though. I'm just asking more than like 14 minutes a game. Like, get this guy in for 20. Because we know...
Yeah, I can see that.
We know as basketball coaches, 6 minutes in the rotation does a lot.
It does.
For a player, for a team, for a mindset, and for a strategical standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I thought we would have benefited a lot more if Andre Drummond played more of those minutes than he actually did. But I think this just attests to Billy Donovan again. People are fans of him. People are not. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Billy Donovan. I thought he had a pretty solid OKC team when he was there. and they still couldn't really succeed.
Fair.
They had MVP Russell Westbrook and still couldn't succeed.
Yep.
And then, he comes to Chicago and coaches a good first half of the season, but then what has he done since then?
Nothing.
Exactly.
He's done nothing but hand the ball off to DeMar DeRozan and just say, DeMar, do what you do.
And
yell at the young guys for making mistakes at times.
Right. And I think that's a thing that people really don't like about Billy Donovan is like he leans on the veterans so much that I think he forgets that he's got like great young players that could come in off the bench or even in the starting lineup. Like when Patrick Williams was getting the ball and was actually like able to create for himself,
he showed flashes of being a great player.
Exactly.
He showed flashes of why he had the potential to be a number 4 pick.
And I think he's another guy that we probably ruined the first half of his career.
I agree.
Because I think if he goes anywhere else, if he goes to a place like Boston, which develops their players so well,
or if he just goes somewhere where he can just play like Houston.
Yes. I think he's off to a much better start than what he's done in Chicago. I think the guy's consistently scoring 14 points a game.
Yeah.
He's sticking the best guy on defense the whole time. He's playing a good basketball game.
I'm just going to close with this regarding AK and Billy. All heads should roll if this season starts off terrible. We should be looking at AK and his ability to put together a team. We should be looking at Billy Donovan, his understanding of how to use the talent around him to get the most out of them. Because one thing I know is that if you gave Eric Spoelstra last year's roster or even this year's roster, they would be maximized.
I agree.
Because Eric Spoelstra is one hell of a coach.
Yeah, I agree. We agree on that point.
And that is how you define good coaching.
Yeah.
Taking whatever you have and maximizing the most out of it.
Even if it's if it's shit from the biggest shit pile you might know, you got to take that shit and somehow raise it into a flower.
And you goddamn right.
Don't quote me on that, but like,
you goddamn right. You quote him. Quote him. Get a t-shirt and everything. Quote him. You got to take shit and what the hell you say?
You got to raise it into a flower. I'm yapping at this point, but
yeah.
It's all right,
but no,
man.
I agree with you. That's the job of a coach. That's the job of a coach.
Yes.
You got to take what you have and maximize it. But moving on from that, let's get into the Week 5 predictions for the NFL.
Yeah.
We have our slate of games. Tomorrow we got Bucks, Falcons, Jets 9:30 against the Minnesota Vikings early on Sunday morning. I think they're playing overseas, out of the country.
Yeah.
And then we have the rest of those games. We can just really go through them. Bucks, Falcons. Who you got?
Bucks. I got
Bucks too.
Yeah.
Jets, Minnesota. Carolina, Bears.
Bears.
I got the Bears.
There we go.
Browns, Washington. Yeah, I got Washington.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Patriots, Dolphins. Patriots.
Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, Dolphins.
I got
the
the
Patriots.
Dolphins.
All right, Jaguars, Colts.
Colts.
Joe Flacco is playing quarterback now.
He's gonna ball out.
Houston, Buffalo. That's a tough one.
That's a very tough one for me. It's in Houston.
Buffalo just got their ass spanked. So I think they're going to come with a whole level of assertiveness and intensity. But I think Houston has a statement game on their hands because they have not been playing the way that we thought they were going to play.
Right.
So I think this is a close game, but I'm going to give it to Houston because they're at home.
I'll go with Houston as well.
Yeah. Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Baltimore
is running the ball. They're doing a lot of things. I'm going to go Baltimore, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati pulls it out.
Okay.
Raiders, Broncos.
Yeah. Devontae Adams ain't playing anymore. He's going to get...
he wants out. Yeah. Arizona, San Francisco. Okay.
San Francisco.
New York, Seattle. I got Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. That's a no-brainer, I think.
Green Bay, Rams. I got Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay. Green Bay.
Dallas, Steelers.
I'll tell you what, man. If Justin Fields balls out,
I got the Steelers.
The Steelers will win. But
and the reason why is because I don't trust the Cowboys' defense.
Okay.
I don't trust their defense. I don't think they can stop the run game. And this is the game that Najee Harris probably takes off and has his big moment.
Okay.
So I got the Steelers.
Okay.
Kansas City, Saints. This is going to be a shootout. The Saints are going to find their offense again against Kansas City, but Kansas City is going to win this game.
Yeah, they're at home. They're at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time Kansas has lost at Arrowhead? I couldn't tell you, but it's probably been a while. So give me Kansas City.
All right, that's our predictions. Now, speaking of predictions, the Halftime Podcast has a raffle coming up, a sweepstakes coming up. Coach, let them know about it. How does it work?
All right, so pretty much how it's going to work, users shall post to their page and to their story with predictions of which team is winning at halftime during the Bears and Panthers game, or before actually, but it's going to be between that game, along with the correct score at halftime.
Yes.
In order to win, you have to be sure to mention our Instagram, which our user handle is on the screen, but just to spell it out for you guys, it's at the halftime_podcast. I think nobody should have trouble in spelling so. You should include that in your post and on your story, and you have to be following our YouTube page and our Instagram page to win. The winner will be receiving a DM from our Halftime Podcast Instagram and be receiving $50 to their Cash App. $50, 50. Again, you have to predict who will be up at halftime in the Bears game and what is the score.
Yes.
If you do those two things, $50 is yours, my man.
Again, listening is fundamental. The score is pertinent to winning the money. You have to make sure you have the right score for the Bears and Panthers game and predicting who will be leading at halftime.
Has to be a video submission as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Again, make sure you tag us in the story when you post it so that way we can actually see it. You have to be following our Instagram and you have to be following our YouTube channel.
Yes.
All right? If you want that money, that's all you have to do. Predict the right score, predict who's winning at halftime, credit us, tag us, follow us, and you'll have the money if you win it. All right. Our next episode.
Yep.
We are bringing in a new segment.
Yes,
a
sir.
segment that we are very, very excited about as coaches.
I can't wait, Coach.
It's called the Halftime Adjustments, where we as coaches will dive into certain plays that we see going on in certain games and just kind of diagnose it and dive in and show you exactly what we think should have happened, or congratulate the coach and congratulate the players for appropriately and accurately pulling off a great play design. Whether it's to create space, whether it's to get a guy open for a shot, whether it's to get a drive to the basket. All of those things, we are looking highly, highly, highly forward to showing you guys the minds of how coaches think in certain interactions, certain positions of the game, certain timeouts, and different things like that. So tune in next episode for the Halftime Adjustments. We're very excited about this. We hope that you guys enjoy this because this is definitely something dear and true to both of our hearts as coaches.
Yep.
This is something that we truly love. We're not just fans of the game as much as we're fans. We dive into it. We learn the game. We coach the game. So there are certain parts of the game where when we're watching, we're not just looking at it from a fan perspective. We're looking at it from a coach perspective, and we're just going like, I kind of see what the coach was thinking there. Maybe that was, they could have probably did something different. So those are the things that we want to bring to you on the halftime. So Halftime Adjustments, next episode. Be ready for it. Be ready to tune in for it. And I'm looking forward to sharing my perspective, and I'm sure Coach K is looking forward to sharing his perspective on things as well.
It's going to be very fun, and I think you guys are going to enjoy seeing the mind inside of a coach here. So, yeah.
All right. And again, we want you to know, send in the video submissions, $50. It's a sweepstakes. It's a giveaway. It's free money. All you got to do is follow us. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Post it to your timeline. Share it on your story. Make sure you mention us in your story so that way we can see it. And that way you can get your $50 if you happen to just pick it all right. You pick the right team, pick the right score, $50 will be yours.
If you guys are watching this as soon as it comes out, obviously it'll be Friday. Submissions are due Saturday night, all right?
Yes.
Not the day of the game, Saturday night they are due, all right?
Yes.
So be sure to follow all of those directions. If you guys have any questions, we'll be making another post on Instagram about this sweepstakes, all right? Just so there's no confusion in the air. And to close it off, it's been Coach Konrad.
It's been Coach Malcolm. As always, see red. As always, bear down. And again, we want to say congratulations to Derrick Rose, a.k.a. Pooh. We hope you enjoy your retirement. We hope you enjoy your family. And thank you for all the wonderful and great memories you gave us as Chicago Bulls fans. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching and listening to us. This has been another episode of the Halftime Podcast. And we're out.
See ya.